Hey guys, I want to apologize in advance if I'm short-winded, if I start coughing throughout this video. I have been under the weather these past few days, and the mornings quite hit me the hardest when it comes to like phlegm and congestion. Literally right now, my eyes are watery just because I was literally hacking and coughing right now. But I really wanted to get this video up. I really wanted to create this video and share it with you guys. It's today is my grandmother's 99th birthday, and for those of you that have been keeping up with me or know about my story, you know or have been following for quite some time, you will know how special and remarkable my grandmother was. My grandmother was a she was a very special, remarkable woman, and I definitely do not say that lightly. She was by far the greatest grandmother I think any grandchild could have ever been gifted. And that's what she was. She was genuinely a godsend. She was a gift. And I'm so grateful. And I wanted to make this video because today would be her 99th birthday. She passed 2 years ago. Today is her birthday, again, June 4th. And she passed away June 6th as well. So 2 days after her 97th birthday. Definitely a very, very long life. It's the way towards the end of her days, her health started to decline. And as you're pushing 100, like you're not going to be 100%, right? And it's kind of like a car. The longer you have the car and the longer you run this car, things it's going to start to wear down. Things are going to You're going to start experiencing some hiccups along the way. The focus and the idea behind this video isn't to share too much about my grandmother. What I mean by that is because I've talked about my grandmother. I created a montage talking about my grandmother. I wrote a book, and I even incorporated talking about my grandmother. I shared stories about my grandmother. I shared the process of me losing my grandmother when I was going through immense grief. Because again, she was special. Like she wasn't just an ordinary grandmother. And I'm not saying that just because I'm her grandson. I'm saying that because she really was like the best. Like what made her so special is one, her storytelling. If you knew her, you definitely know what I mean by that. She told the greatest stories. She had the most beautiful, serene laugh, a joyous laugh, a blissful laugh. She had a heart of gold. She grew up from hard times, and from her going from where she was to who she ultimately became, it's nothing but extraordinary. And I want to do my very best to honor her legacy, where her name continues to shine, her legacy continues to shine, where this generation, she created 5 generations of life. And if I can be that one to make her proud, to be like, that's my grandson, I created that. It would that's what I aim to fulfill. The main intention of this video is to talk about grief. And the truth is that grief doesn't necessarily get easier, at least not from my own personal experience. However, things do get better. And the moment when I lost my grandmother, as you can imagine, it when when you see someone's health decline, the way that, and particularly the way how hers had, where she was going through the hospital a lot, she was in and out of the hospital, she was going through a lot of complications with her health, to say the least. And to see her not only navigate that process and go through what she was going through, but to see her in the hospital, and seeing her, having an oxygen mask, or seeing her bruised because of her having to have IVs, and seeing her in that state is not the easiest thing to bear through, and to it's not the easiest thing to witness. And I wrote with my book as well, and I said, you never realize how much, it's along the lines of, you never realize how much strength it takes to view someone in the hospital until you're on the other side of the bed. Meaning, she was the one always visiting me in the hospital. And I never realized how much strength it takes for an individual to see someone they deeply love in a hospital setting where they are not doing too well. I didn't understand the immense strength it takes to not only go there to the hospital, but to be there and see your loved one again struggling until I was on the other side of the bed. When you navigate grief, and where I'm going with this is when you see your loved one go through that kind of turmoil, that season of their life, it's not easy. And then to see them towards the end, towards when it comes to their passing, that's not easy to bear through either. And I wrote in my book, and I wrote it in my book, and I genuinely just understand how some people spiral. I think many people spiral when they lose someone close to them. They spiral because you feel like your world is just crumbling. It's falling apart. And I learned that through that process, the best way to honor them is to get back up. Because, sorry, my phone thinks it's talking, but I'm talking to it. The best thing to do is to get back up. Because there is nothing more that your loved one loves to see you doing than to be happy, than to seeing you doing things that make you feel fulfilled. In the very beginning, yes, grief, cry, let it out. But do not stay there. Because we honor our loved ones' legacies by the way we continue to show up for ourselves. Because spiritually speaking, the more we make ourselves happy, the more we continue to show up for others, the more we bring people together, the more that we are able to make others feel seen, heard, valued, make them feel special the way that they made you feel, is the very thing that we not only show the impact they had on our life, but the legacy that they have left behind. And to me, that's beautiful. I had this idea to talk about grief, and you can also get my book, Become the Victor, Turning Trials into Triumph. It's available online at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, iTunes, in addition to Google Play Books. There's an audiobook version currently in the works. Hopefully I'll be able to announce that soon. This video will be uploaded the day of me recording the video. And my grandmother was just special. I wanted to make this video for two reasons. One, I wanted to document this because I know there is going to come a moment in my life where I am going to rewatch my content and remember me sitting here, me being where I was, and just reflect and reminisce off certain parts of my own story. And then two, the second reason is to talk about grief, to hopefully help lift other people's spirits who are navigating grief and or who lost a loved one. And I just hope that some individual across this screen will be able to feel that this video was meant for them. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I am going to try to incorporate something a little bit different with my style of content. I have been brainstorming how I can kind of improve or enhance the quality of my content, the quality of my storytelling, the quality of the way I articulate my words, and just overall improve the way I communicate. And I've been brainstorming on that, so we'll see we'll see what the rest of this year holds. I'm going to be experimenting a little bit differently with my content creation, but again, I just wanted to highlight my grandmother's story and honor her birthday, and also to talk about grief, because if I am feeling one way, I know there is many others feeling the same, and there's no doubt about it. But the one thing I hope you can take away from this video is that everybody experiences grief. And the thing I learned is when you navigate grief, try to do your very best to love those around you. Be patient with them because they too are navigating grief in their own way. And I found that if you can be that strong individual to try to keep you guys together, especially in the very beginning, and I'm very, very grateful and fortunate that when my grandmother passed, it was a bittersweet, meaning, seeing her the way, like I seen her, I don't want to get in detail, but I seen her laying there. And I felt a sudden burst of emotions I never felt before. But I am very grateful that the family circle was peaceful. We stuck together. And where I am going with this is, especially when you're going through the process of the very beginning of this grief, the way that you handle yourself, the way that you hold yourself together, you are actually, in fact, helping those around you who are too trying their very best to hold themselves together. Because when they look at you and they see, oh, you're going to be okay, it gives them the reassurance, I myself am going to be okay. Because again, especially when you're very, very close to that individual, you are going to look to those people who are very close to that person. And although they may not say it, they are definitely going to reflect how one is going to feel. You are definitely going to know who needs more support than the other, who is going to need more of a listening ear than the other, who is going to need more of a longer hug than the other. And then you are going to see that one who, although on the outside, like myself, I appeared to hold myself together, I grieved in private. I grieved in my own alone time. I did have my moments, amongst with the family, but I definitely had many, many more moments in private. And as I'm sure as many of you do as well. So continue to grieve your loved one. And continue to show up for yourself. Because the number one thing they want, spiritually speaking, for you is to see you happy. They don't want you to live in pain any longer, any more than you need to. They want to see you happy. They want you to lift your spirits again, to find your spark. And the more that you continue to put one foot in front of the other in a much more healthier, positive direction, you in fact are helping them in this celestial light. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.